Good day. This is DK Bold with another Bold Business Report. And today we're going to do a book review on a wonderful little book that I recently read called The Dip by Seth Godin. The subtitle is Knowing a Little Book That Teaches You When to Quit and When to Stick. Now, one of the key pieces, or how the book really starts, is wow, all of the things that you do out there. And when I say you, I, anyone, and if you look at the successful people and the less than successful people, what has been a common factor throughout all of that is several key pieces: the dip, the cul-de-sac, and then also the cliff, and then most importantly, when we quit, how often we quit, and knowing the difference between a cul-de-sac and a dip. Now, I know you're saying, wow, what the heck is this guy talking about? We have all sorts of dips, cul-de-sacs. Okay, hang with me here. So, as I look at this and had read through it, what Seth really tries to bring together for you is what exactly does that dip look like and what happens when you make it through it. Well, a really simple premise is look in your own life and look at the people that are successful either around you, your own successes, and when you've been very successful. What's amazing is what's the work that had to be done. For those that to be mediocre, they only had to do a little work. For those to be great, they did a bit more work. For those to be excellent, they did a lot of work. And for those that to be outstanding, they pushed just a little bit further than those that were excellent. And what's amazing is that all of the rewards come to those that are outstanding. And Seth talks about the fact that being world class, being the best in the world in whatever it is that you do. So one of the things he talks about is extraordinary benefits come to those who push through the dip. Extraordinary benefits also come to those who know when to quit and quit early. So what's the value of being the best in the world? Well, what's amazing is that's where all the rewards are. Think about the flavors of ice cream. The number one flavor of ice cream is vanilla. Now the number two is chocolate, and on and on. You can go through all the different flavors out there. But what's amazing is the difference between number one and number two is huge. Look at it also in movies. If you think about some of the new movies that just came out, the Oscars were just out, the difference between the number one movie and then the number two grossing movie, for instance, in 2006, that Seth writes about in the book, was extraordinary. It was tens of millions of dollars in difference between that number one movie and the number two movie. So what we have to realize, or what Seth is trying to get us to realize, is that the difference between being the best in the world is so much greater and so much more important that we need to know when to quit and back away from some of the things that we're doing. Now, when we say best in the world, good question, what does that mean? Well, the good news is best is subjective. So is the world in this context. So if I say to you, I want the best hamburger in the world, what does that mean? Well, that hamburger has certain features. It might have cheese on it, it might have bacon on it, it might even have some sauteed mushrooms, and on and on. That makes the great best cheeseburger. My best is completely different than your best. Think about it when you're hiring somebody. When you're hiring a person, if you're looking for a salesperson for a technology company, you want the best that's in that. Well, that best person may look very different for one company that's selling a technology product versus another company selling a very similar technology product. So we need to be careful and not hem ourselves in or basically get painted into a corner as far as what is the best. So, all right, what's the magic of thinking quit? Well, it's good to be a strategic quitter. It's bad to be a reactive quitter, and it's very bad to be a serial quitter. So strategic quitting, we want to pick the right times. A reactive quitter is, hey, oh my gosh, everything went to crazy and we got to quit. Or you're a serial quitter, hey, you start a lot of things and hey, you just blow them off and they quit. None of those are good. So what does the dip? So as we kind of move through this, what does the dip look like, and how does strategic quitting and all of that play into it? Well, the dip is a curve, and I would show you a picture, but it's a little easier. Let me just describe it to give you the essence of it. Think about when you first started one of your favorite jobs or a favorite project of yours, something that you're very excited about. Well, when you started it, it was pretty easy. You were excited, you could stay up late, you were working on it, you were doing all sorts of fun things, and the results you were getting were pretty good because you're getting some immediate feedback. Well, what happens when a few days, a few weeks, or even months go by, and all of a sudden the new wears off the crystal chandelier, as the song says from many years ago? What happens when that when all of that happens is now you've gone into a dip. The question then becomes is that just a dip, or is that a cul-de-sac? What's a cul-de-sac? Simply put, a cul-de-sac, it's a French word for a dead end. And the basic premise of knowing the difference. Now, one thing about this book, and as we kind of give in the review of it, one of the things about this book is I don't think Seth goes into a lot of detail describing, hey, the differences or how to know when you're in a dip and how to know when you're in the cul-de-sac. Now, the dip's relatively obvious, but knowing sometimes whether you're in a dead end or not, sometimes that can be tough, and sometimes it can take a lot longer than we think. So that's a little bit of a weakness in this book. It is a short book. One of the last things he talks about is the cliff, and that's one of those where, hey, you work and work and work, and the only way you can quit, or the only way you can get away from it, is fall off the cliff. Pretty bad. He uses the analogy of cigarette smoking, where, hey, you smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke, and then the cliff is, hey, you have emphysema and you die. Kind of a crummy situation, but that's the example. So overall, I think this was a very good book. I think should be on your reading list, and should definitely be anyone that is part of the Bold Business Report should definitely be one for them to read. You can read it in a short period of time. I enjoyed it. I give it 6.5 stars out of 10 for a good book. Need to be read, but there's probably a few things else it could bring to the table. Well, folks, that was another Bold Business Report. I'm happy to be with you. And as always, I encourage you to find your passions. Take care. Have a great day.